Djed Redemption, the lows of Leeds, the coldness of Conte, the constant question marks over his attitude, the passing around club to club has seemingly all come to an end. Djed Spence has arrived at the top level. The Champions League and the national team has welcomed the 25-year-old with open arms, and the English fullback is killing it. So it's time we reflect, we discuss and we analyse this successful Spence. Now, Djed Spence, as some of you may know, had his big breakout unknown for Steve Cooper's Nottingham Forest. He mainly operated as a high-flying, very attacking wing-back on the right-hand side, particularly impressing in Nottingham Forest's cup run that year, which included wins against Arsenal, Leicester, Huddersfield and a narrow defeat to Liverpool. Spence was utilised slightly differently back then as opposed to now. The Englishman was very confident in stepping out of the back line towards the winger and showed immense levels of energy going forward. That energy was so difficult to contain, he had Brendan Rodgers tweaking his setup to have two fullbacks on one side. Even then, he still drove through and still managed to score. Under Ange Postecoglou, his opportunity to shine came against Southampton away, in what would be Russell Martin's final outing as Saints boss. From then, with the doggies' injury woes, he absolutely smashed it in a very underperforming side, quite a lot of the time filling in as a makeshift left back. That brilliant form would continue under new boss Thomas Frank as we continue to see Djed Spence at left back. Yes, because the doggie's not always been fit. Yes, because there's no other ideal alternative there. But also because Djed Spence actually looks really good there. How many right-footed right backs do you know that fill in at left back and actually look somewhat better there? I'll come back to why later. Djed Spence in low build-up positions nice and wide as expected, yet when Thomas Frank's team progresses into different phases, you'll see Djed Spence drift in sometimes. He will sometimes stay cautionary and not commit forwards, other times he'll provide an inside underlapping run, and then other times he'll provide a run on the outside. A bit of a mix. Spence has played in quite a few different systems that involve quite a few different roles. At Forest he pushed high, as we know, dominating the flanks. Under Ange Postecoglou, he underwent a very demanding role that would sometimes see him push high and wide, but also occupy mostly on the inside. So there's a nice mix of high explosiveness paired with technical ability here, and that's what Djed Spence is all about as a player. He's more complete than what people give credit for. When Spence receives the ball, he's capable of producing an instant and swift drive forwards, along with a swift change of direction. His control with the ball is silky. His natural body opening and excellent footwork sets his ball carrying up very nicely, and carrying that ball forwards is one of his best traits. Statistically, this is what Spence has backed his performances up with so far this season. As we can see, those progressive carrying, passing and dribbling stats are amongst the finest in the team, as Spence cements himself as a very key ball progressor from deep towards that final third. When carrying that ball to its destination, Spence has the look of a tricky, silky, technical winger that's going to take you on, especially on the left. He wants to tease with that right foot, but retains the ball nicely, proving to be a secure possession outlet. This isn't some failed youth winger that's been pushed back to fullback in senior football. He's more complete than that. Spence shares the capability to beat a couple of players in tight spaces by using quick feet to manipulate it by them, or his physical frame. Spence stands at around 6 foot tall. He contains decent upper body strength, allowing for him to withhold any pressure by holding up the ball, and ideally looking to follow it up with a bit of swift movement. Along with agility and swift bit of movement, Spence combines with teammates simply. Usually it's just the act of him simply carrying the ball forwards and then laying it off to a teammate. But with the added rise of his technical ceiling, combination play becomes more optimal. Those little inside combinations help Spurs progress the ball a little bit more centrally, despite their slight struggles. And to add to all of that, there's some very decent passing range there too, should he be given some runners. Touching more on Spence in the final third, and the 25-year-old certainly is capable and makes quality contributions there, but I find his crossing can be a little inconsistent. His usage of his left foot understandably lacks consistency, but he shows great effect in his movement here with that underlapping rung for a winger pushed wide. That bit of movement can differ for a winger nicely and provide different tools to break down an opposition defence, but Spence to me is a rare, technical but athletic profile for a fullback. So let's take a look at the other and slightly more important department for a defender. The running joke on Spence's Instagram does indeed translate across to his defensive performance. In Tottenham's high aggressive press, Spence is particularly good at jumping towards his man once the ball arrives his way. His positioning, his speed, his timing is all top notch, and he has the athleticism to chase back into position should he or the team be beaten. Once he engages within a duel, he can be aggressively persistent, and it doesn't matter if the man is putting his body between him and the ball and aggressively, he'll do his best to get there. His defensive awareness to his positioning is something I noticed too. There's good discipline there, as he doesn't want to leave the space very exposed. Along with that organisation against PSG, qualities away from the footballing side was on show with his vocal communication. Here, as you can see, he's informing Van de Ven on the opponent that's drifting across. Awareness and communication is important amongst the defence in this elaborate off-the-ball system, especially against an opponent of this magnitude. Once it's time to defend 1v1, I find Spence to be unfazed. There's maturity to his game, especially when he shows an opponent how to play and uses his strength to block his passage to the ball. Any opponent that twists and turns, Spence does a good job of keeping up with them, whether that's on the left or the right. Physically, he's capable of excelling and dominating more nitty and gritty duels where play becomes a bit ugly and scrappy. He's excellent at coming out on top. He's a really smart player within this department and makes it very difficult for a winger to see space of which to beat him. A weakness I did spot was when a cross is directed towards the back post. If there's more than one man, his positioning can be exploited, but don't let this distract you from the all-round package he is as a player. But how does a wrong-footed package actually thrive more on the left? Let's have a look. Now in this last segment of the video, we of course are having a look at the left back personnel. We've got Djed and Djed Spence. Ideally for your left backs, you do want another left footer to go with Djed. Of course, it's a natural selection, but if you want a little bit more of a technical option for your left back choices, you've got Djed Spence there and it works very well. Now naturally for Spurs, I do think Djed works a little bit better. With the energy he provides on the overlap, it allows for Tottenham wingers to cut inside. All of Tottenham's left wingers, Xavi Simons, Tell, Johnson, Odegaard, even Kolo Muani, they all want to come inside, so naturally this works a little bit better with Djed, a left footer, pushing wide and a good crosser. But if you want a technical option that can pass on the inside, Djed Spence provides a lot of quality here. Now when Djed Spence gets the ball here, you can see he wants to go onto his right foot. Of course, he's right-footed. That's very natural. So this actually optimizes and utilizes a little bit more inside progression. He wants to chop inside and it allows for these 3v3s just here. All the players can rotate. This works a little bit better with Breakout as well, but it allows Spurs to create a little bit of inside progression. It helps the lack of central progression that Spurs have struggled with under Thomas Frank. He naturally is going to receive the ball on his right foot, so he's going to make those passes on the inside, and this slightly isolates the outside, the flanks. It allows for more space out here for Simons to spontaneously go at it, or even Spence with a swift change of direction. You see, Spence can fool a player into going inside, but actually change that bit of direction, allow for Simons to drag the fullback away and create space for himself out wide. It does genuinely create those wide overloads very well that we've seen under Thomas Frank. It also creates overloads within the central progression really well. Rotations are really natural for Thomas Frank's side because Djed Spence is comfortable receiving the ball here, but also up here and also out wide. So it's very easy for Tottenham to naturally, fluidly progress within this phase with Djed Spence. As much as you'd prefer Destiny Doggy on these outside runs, Djed Spence can also do this as well. Obviously it's a little bit more difficult for him to cross, but he can provide the same qualities that Destiny Doggy brings, but not quite within the final third and that easy crossing that he brings. He fluidly combines, he's a really rare but technical profile, and I think this would actually explode if you had somebody within this side that liked to hold width, that likes to go either way, that likes to go down the byline, which is why the signing of Savinho would have made so much sense within the summer. Savinho can play on the right, but he can also play on the left, and with Savinho he likes to go down the byline a lot when he's on the left because he's left-footed. So this would allow Spence to drift inside, make those key underlapping runs, and the left side progression would have been absolutely insane. It's something worth considering if Savinho does come to Tottenham within January or next summer. Djed Spence does bring a lot of quality here, and I do really like him at right back, but I think seeing him on the left, it just unleashes a whole technical side to his game that personally for myself, I never knew he really had. At Nottingham Forest, we knew him for a high-flying fullback that would just bomb down a line, but I never knew he had this technical core within him. I never knew he could receive the ball so well, swiftly change the direction away from players, and his ball carrying would be this effective on the left-hand side. It is truly something fantastic, and it's something that should be utilised against certain opposition that's a little bit weaker down the sides on the inside, where there's a player to exploit. Djed Spence can do that, and it's certainly a good flexible option for Thomas Frank. Thank you guys for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, feel free to smash a like and subscribe to the channel. I did a poll yesterday asking which England left back should start next summer, so if you want to have a little vote on that, let me know who you think, and I'll see you guys in the next one.